Palestinian from Gaza. I raised in Gaza City, in Rafah. I raised in Rafah City in the south of Gaza Strip. My life was normal as any Palestinian, as I called it normal, as I felt it at that time. Everything happening around us, we consider it part of the life without thinking, is it really, this is the real life that everyone has or what? I graduated from the high school as a student. I wanted to, join the school, get busy with my studies, and then have a good job and help myself and help my family. But none of this worked the way I wanted. In 2000, there's something happened, was the first point to change my life as Palestinian. I was walking in the street, coming back from my university, and I had to take my decision to cross one of the streets, which is closer to my house, or to take another street, which is farther, but it's gonna take half an hour, or take the first street, which takes 5 minutes, but it's dangerous. I decided to take the 5 minutes as the dangerous part of our life, so it's okay if the sniper tower in the street gonna shoot at me or not. I considered it maybe not. So I decided to take the shortcut and cross the street. I crossed the first part of the street and I felt like, okay, now I'll be safe. I'm close to house, just one step, and I'll cross the second part of the street and that's it, I will be home. Kids were everywhere throwing stones at the sniper tower, and at that minute, honestly, I was scared. Shall I do it or go back? But at that minute also, to go back, it's another challenge. I should wait and make sure that the sniper tower doesn't shoot at me. I was protected by the wall. So I waited for a minute, and one of the children jumped in front of me and said, well, are you scared to cross the street? I said, not really. I was pretending that I'm not scared, but I was. And then he said, I'll show you how to cross the street. It's not difficult. We do it all the time. Look, he just tried to do it to show me how strong he is. But he took a bad decision. I begged him not to do it, but he did. He crossed the street. He got shot in the head by the Israeli sniper as well. I went back to Gaza, but that's where my journalism trip started. At the border with Egypt, they took our passports. They said, you can enter the terminal, we stamp in your passports, and you will go back to Gaza. I said, okay, great. It's gonna take 24 hours maybe an hour, who knows. But unfortunately, the an hour took 3 weeks. We stuck inside the terminal for 3 weeks. The Egyptian soldiers told us that the Israelis soldiers phoned and said if they let the people who are inside the crossing go to Gaza, they will attack them, and because of our safety, we have to stay inside the terminal for 3 weeks. I could imagine an American waiting in an airport for 1 day, 24 hours. I promise he will start a demonstration inside the airport saying, no, this is too much. I went back to Gaza. I wrote an article about what happened. It was like a story to my friend who lives in Alwan. And she sent the story to The Guardian. And I was in a shock to see my story published by The Guardian and The Observer at that time. And that's where I got emails from people I never met, I don't know about. They said, Fida, this story is really good. You need to keep going. That's where I realized journalism and the people who live in these cities need to tell their stories. In 2008, things had changed not just for me as Palestinian, but for everyone who lived there and experienced the war on Gaza, as I called it, on Gaza. I was visiting a friend at that time, and the attacks started. I couldn't do anything in my position, so I called my brother to bring the camera, and I went and filmed. Things wasn't normal. I never experienced something like that in all my life, even though I grew up in Gaza. Even though I felt like all the things that happened there are part of our life, but not Cast Lead operation. It wasn't against specific party in Gaza. It was against the people themselves. I had friends who killed. I saw houses that destroyed by the Israeli army. They had nothing to do with the party who controls Gaza. But when I came to the United States and saw how people ignorant about what's going on in Gaza, how people don't have a clue about the normal people who live there and accept everything abnormal as part of the life and normal, I decided to use the footage, which were over 70 hours of film, to do something. For American audience, I didn't know how to tell the story. I had no script. Started to write the script as people I interviewed wanted, and tell the story as the people themselves wanted. So that's where should the Birds of Life film idea came, to tell the people's story, but using the people voice.
I was visiting a friend at the border when the bombs started to fall.
اسمي منى بصف خامس عمري 10 سنين. استشهدوا أمي وأبويا ومرت أخويا مرت أخويا تنتين.
صفا ومها.
صفا ومها وابن مها برضه استشهد.
إيش اللي صار معكم؟
I hope you understood part of the story that I'm trying to tell about the normal and the abnormal. For Mona is 9 years old. When I started filming with her, she was 9, and she's 11 now. She considered, there is a question I asked to Mona, how many members you lost on the war in Gaza? She said, not many, 5. My father, my mother, 2 of my aunts, and my niece. For Mona to answer such a question like that and say, not many, that's made me really think a lot. How a child considered this big loss not that big. And when I sit with her and talk to her, why you consider 5 people is not many? She said, well, you know, our neighbor, they lost more. They lost the house, and he lost his wife and 2 of his children, and he lost his cousins, and she compared the loss that with other people. And then she considered what she lost. Comparing with other people is not that much. And that's how she built her answer. I was in a shock when I heard Mona saying this, like how she compared herself with other people, how she got the time. It's like few minutes, how you can think few minutes like to compare yourself with your neighbor and other neighbor. That was something, it made me think. When I start filming with Mona, I was careless, honestly. My camera was shaking, and I said, what's she gonna say? She will say, well, I lost my parents, and she will start to cry as any child, and the story will be boring. As a journalist, I get used to see people in Gaza killed, and I wanted interesting story, honestly. But when Mona started to talk, she like blew this idea of my mind, like said, hold on a second, I'm letting you respect me. I'm letting you listen to me if you want or not. And then when I heard her, I said to myself, hold on a second, you have to carry the camera the right way, and you have to respect this kid. And she kept talking. And that's where I was thinking of how many child has the same thing, the same mind that Mona has. Is it hundreds? I believe many. And that's why I tried to show the story through Mona's eyes and through my eyes as a journalist. I grew up in Gaza, but I saw things totally different the last few years. Everything changed upside down. My neighborhood destroyed totally. I have a friend sitting here. She came when the neighborhood was half destroyed. Now it's totally destroyed. You have no memories there. Our life is not just a house. It's not just a father or a mother. It's totally connected with memories. Like when I say I lost my house, I don't care about the walls. It's not, house doesn't mean walls around, surrounded me and surrounded my family. It's mean the place I grew up in. The photos that I took with my family. I had none of these photos stayed. None of them. Since we were children, we used to take a photo every year for my family. We had none of them.
وهي أبويا
want to just say any story and then you walk home and that's it. I wanted you to be connected to us as people, as a human. We are not throwing our kids in the streets to be died or to be killed. We care about our kids. I didn't want to have kids in Gaza to be killed. My family, my sisters, one of them think the same. I don't want this to happen for my children or other children. It doesn't matter to be Palestinians or Israelis. It doesn't matter about the life itself. It means a lot.
I'm just wondering, after seeing so much pain and suffering and so much killing and blood, does that compel you, does that put more anger in you? And if that hope, if that peace was ever to be achieved, would you be able to forget all what you have seen?
Well, we say in Arabic there are two choices for people. Sometimes you have the...
I can understand.
No, I choose the other way, actually. I believe that killing is not the solution. It's going to keep always the same. We kill from them, they kill from us, and we go back, kill from them, and they will come back and kill of us, and back and forth and non-stop. And this is not the solution that I believe in. I believe that people should stop. Both sides must stop. Even though it's not equal. One of the sides have all the power and the other side had no power. But both sides should stop. And then that's where things need to be started from there. Peace negotiations, it's on, but it's not fair, honestly. I believe in peace, I believe in hope, and I know that we will reach it someday. If it's not today, it's gonna be reached. If we accept it or not, we have to accept it. It's the better way for us to accept peace and hope. Otherwise, we're gonna lose hope and peace and keep hating each other, and it's not the solution. And I'm not ready to keep any black spot in my heart. I wanna keep this heart clean. I mean, I don't believe in this stuff. I believe that my heart should be clean for love, and that's it. And otherwise, I'm going to pass this for my children, and I don't want my children to have any connection with the pain I had. I want them to have connection with my country, with Palestine, love Palestine, but not connection with the pain.